Commander Daeho Kim sat in his chair on the space station. The stars looked cold and far away outside his window. He had been watching the deep space signals for 15 years. Nothing ever happened here at the edge of human space. Today was different. The emergency alarm rang through the station. Red lights flashed on every wall. Daeho jumped up and ran to the main control room. His hands shook as he turned on the communication system. "This is Dr. So-Young Park calling from Kepler 442b. Please respond immediately. This is not a drill." Daeho knew Dr. Park. She was the best scientist humanity had. She studied alien life forms on the neutral planet. Her voice sounded scared. That made Daeho scared too. "Dr. Park, this is Commander Kim. What is wrong?" "Daeho, listen carefully. The Galactic Council sent me a message. All 17 alien species agree. They want all humans to leave the universe. Not just our galaxy. The entire universe. They gave us 1 year." Daeho felt his stomach drop. The Galactic Council controlled most of the known universe. They had technology that could destroy entire star systems. Humans were still young compared to them. "Why do they want us gone?" Daeho asked. "They say we are dangerous. Our minds work differently than theirs. They think we will destroy everything." 3,000 light-years away, Captain Minho Lee was having his own problems. His ship, the New Soul, was exploring a new star system. Everything seemed normal at first. His crew was excited to find 3 planets that could support life. Then something went wrong. "Captain," said his science officer, "the star is acting strange." Minho looked at the data on his screen. The star was flickering like a broken light. The planets around it were becoming transparent. He could see through them to the stars behind. "Get us away from here," Minho ordered. But it was too late. The entire star system began to fade away. It was like someone was erasing it from reality. Within minutes there was nothing left. Just empty space where a star and 3 planets used to be. "What did we do?" whispered his science officer. Minho did not know, but he had a terrible feeling that somehow, just by being there, they had caused this to happen. Back on Earth, President Ji-Eun Choi sat in her office in New Geneva. The emergency call from Commander Kim had reached her 20 minutes ago. Now she was calling together the smartest people on Earth. Dr. Sung-Min Han arrived first. He was the man who had invented faster-than-light travel for humans. His face was pale as he sat down. "Is it true?" he asked. "Do they really want us to leave the universe?" "That is what Dr. Park says," President Choi replied. "Can you think of any reason why?" Dr. Han was quiet for a long time. Then he opened his computer and showed her some numbers. "I have been studying something strange for the past year. Every time humans travel to a new place, small things change around us. The laws of physics bend a little. Space and time act differently. What does that mean? I think human brains work on a special frequency. Our thoughts and feelings might be changing reality around us. We do not mean to do it, but it happens anyway." President Choi felt cold. "Are we really dangerous?" "I do not know," Dr. Han said. "But I am starting to think the aliens might be right to fear us." More people arrived for the emergency meeting. Scientists, military leaders, and politicians filled the room. Everyone looked worried. Dr. Park joined the meeting by video call from her distant planet. Her face showed on the big screen. She looked tired and scared. "I have more information," she said. "The aliens told me they have done this before. They destroyed 3 other species that were like us, species that could change reality with their minds." The room became very quiet. "How long do we have?" asked Admiral Tae-hyun Kang, the head of all human space forces. 1 year, Dr. Park replied. "If even 1 human remains in this universe after that, they will destroy all of us. They have weapons that can wipe out entire galaxies." General Won-Sik-yoon stood up. He was an old soldier who had fought in the Mars Wars. "We should fight them." "Humans do not run away." "With what?" Admiral Kang asked. "They have 17 different species working together. Some of them are millions of years older than us. Their technology is like magic compared to ours." Dr. Han spoke again. "There might be another way. If we really can change reality with our minds, maybe we can find a way to leave without dying." "Leave to where?" President Choi asked. "They want us out of the entire universe." "Maybe," Dr. Han said slowly. "We can go to a different universe." Everyone stared at him. The idea sounded impossible. "You think we can travel between universes?" Admiral Kang asked. "I do not know. But if we can accidentally make star systems disappear, maybe we can accidentally open doors to other places." President Choi looked around the room. Every face showed the same mixture of fear and determination. Humans had always been good at surviving impossible situations. Dr. Han, she said, you have 6 months to figure out how to move 12 billion people to another universe. Admiral Kang, prepare our fleets for possible war. General Yoon, start planning evacuations. Dr. Park, learn everything you can about what the aliens know. As the meeting ended, Dr. Park's voice came through the speakers one more time. There is one more thing, she said. The aliens are not just afraid of what we might do. They are afraid of what we might become. They think humans could grow into something that would threaten the existence of everything. President Choi looked out her window at the night sky. Somewhere out there, 17 alien species were preparing to destroy humanity. They thought humans were too dangerous to exist. Maybe they were right. But that did not mean humans would go quietly. The war for humanity's survival was about to begin, and the battleground would be reality itself. Dr. He-Jin Yang worked alone in her laboratory deep under the mountains of Switzerland. The emergency meeting had ended 3 weeks ago. Everyone else was trying to build weapons or plan evacuations. He-Jin was trying to break the laws of physics. She had not slept in 2 days. Coffee cups covered her desk. Mathematical equations filled every wall of the lab. Her computer screen showed data that would have confused the smartest scientists on Earth just 50 years ago. If humans really can change reality, she said to herself, then maybe reality is not as solid as we think. He-Jin had been studying quantum mechanics since she was 12 years old. She understood that everything in the universe was made of tiny particles that could be in many places at once. She also knew that human consciousness could affect these particles in ways that science could not explain. Her breakthrough came at 3 in the morning. The computer finished running her latest calculation. The answer appeared on the screen. He-Jin stared at it for a long time. Then she started laughing and crying at the same time. It is possible, she whispered. We can actually do it. The next morning, Admiral Tae-hyun Kang stood in his office looking at reports from across human space. Every day brought more bad news. 3 more star systems had disappeared when human ships visited them. Panic was spreading on every human world. His assistant knocked on the door. Admiral, Dr. Yang is here. She says it is urgent. Admiral Kang had heard of Dr. Yang. She was brilliant but strange. Most people thought she was wasting time with impossible theories. Dr. Yang walked into his office carrying a small metal device. She looked tired but excited. Admiral, I can open a door to another universe. Admiral Kang stared at her. That is impossible. No, it is not. Dr. Yang put the device on his desk. Human brains create quantum waves that can break through the barriers between universes. The same thing that makes us dangerous also makes us capable of traveling between realities. She turned on the device. The air above it began to shimmer. A hole opened in space. Through the hole, Admiral Kang could see stars that looked different from any he had ever seen. Where does it lead? He asked. To an empty universe. The laws of physics are almost the same as here, but there are no aliens. No Galactic Council. Just empty space waiting for someone to fill it. Admiral Kang reached toward the hole. Dr. Yang grabbed his hand. Do not touch it yet. We do not know if it is safe. But this proves we can do it. We can leave this universe and find a new home. Word of Dr. Yang's discovery spread quickly. Within a week, she was working with the best engineers and scientists from every human world. The project was called Exodus Protocol. Engineer Junseo Shin ran the numbers. He was good with mathematics and bad news. To move all 12 billion humans, we need energy equal to a small star, he told the team. We would have to build machines the size of planets. Then we build them, said Commander Hai-Young Kim. She was chosen to lead the scouting missions into the new universe. How long will it take? 8 months if everything goes perfectly, Junseo replied. 10 months if we run into problems. We only have 10 months left before the deadline, Dr. Yang said. We have no room for mistakes. Commander Kim led the first scouting mission through a larger portal 2 weeks later. Her team of 50 volunteers stepped through the hole in space into a universe where no human had ever been. The new universe was beautiful and strange. The stars were brighter. Space itself seemed more alive. When the humans walked on the first planet they found, flowers grew from their footsteps. The very presence of human consciousness made the universe more real. It is like this place was waiting for us, Commander Kim reported back to Earth. But not everyone was happy with the plan. Counselor Do-hyun Park believed humans should fight instead of run. He gave speeches in the Parliament building on Earth. "We are not mice," he told the crowds. "We are humans. When someone threatens us, we fight back. These aliens are afraid of our power. That means we have power. We should use it." Duhyun's followers called themselves the Reality Wardens. They believed humans should learn to control their ability to change reality. Instead of leaving the universe, they wanted to reshape it. "We could make the aliens disappear," Duhyun said. "We could rewrite the laws of physics to favor humans. We could become gods." The argument split humanity. Half wanted to escape to safety. Half wanted to stand and fight. The debate ended when the first major test of the portal technology went wrong. Dr. Yang had built a prototype portal generator above Mars. It was supposed to create a doorway big enough for a small city to pass through. The test was broadcast live across human space. At first, everything worked perfectly. The portal opened. Through it, people could see the new universe waiting for them. The first test ship, carrying 50,000 volunteers, flew toward the opening. Then something went wrong with the quantum calculations. The portal began to grow. Instead of staying the size of a city, it expanded to cover half of Mars. The planet started to split apart. Pieces of Mars began existing in 7 different universes at the same time. People on the surface of Mars found themselves in multiple realities. Some were standing on red dirt under a pink sky. Others were on blue crystal under a green sky. Some were floating in space with no ground at all. 50,000 people died in the disaster, but the technology worked. Mars was proof that humans could indeed travel between universes. They just needed to be more careful. Dr. Yang worked for 3 weeks without sleep to fix the problems. When she was done, the portal technology was safer. But the accident had scared many people. "Maybe the aliens are right," some people said. "Maybe we are too dangerous to exist." Dr. Yang disagreed. She stood before the United Nations and spoke to representatives from every human world. "We are not dangerous because we are evil," she said. "We are dangerous because we are growing. Every species that becomes powerful enough threatens the order of things. The aliens want to keep the universe the same forever. We want to make it better. But what if we destroy everything by accident?" asked the representative from Luna Colony. "Then we learn from our mistakes and do better," Dr. Yang replied. "That is what humans do. We fail, we learn, we try again. The aliens want us to stop trying. I say we try harder." President Choi made the final decision. Humanity would proceed with Exodus Protocol. They would build the giant portal generators needed to move entire planets. They would evacuate to the new universe before the deadline, but they would also prepare for war. If the aliens tried to stop them or followed them to the new universe, humanity would be ready to fight. Admiral Kang began moving the human fleet into position. Commander Kim continued her scouting missions, mapping safe areas in the new universe. Engineer Shin worked around the clock building the massive machines needed for the evacuation. Time was running out. 7 months remained before the aliens' deadline. Humanity was about to attempt the most dangerous and ambitious project in their history. They were going to move an entire civilization to a different universe. And they were going to do it while 17 alien species watched and waited for them to fail. Dr. Yang looked at her calculations one more time. The mathematics were perfect. The technology would work. But she knew that mathematics and technology were not enough. Success would depend on something that could not be calculated or built. It would depend on the one thing that made humans different from every other species in the universe. It would depend on hope. Chief Administrator Soo-Jin Lee had organized many things in her life. She had planned cities, managed space colonies, and coordinated trade between planets. But she had never tried to move 12 billion people to another universe. The evacuation plan covered her entire wall. Red lines showed escape routes from every human world. Blue dots marked portal locations. Green numbers counted how many people each ship could carry. Everything had to work perfectly, or people would die. "The first wave leaves in 6 hours," she announced to her team. "Outer colonies go first. Earth goes last." The room was full of tired people who had not slept properly in months. They all knew that one mistake could doom millions of humans. Captain Woo-sung Park stood on the bridge of his ship, the Terra Nova. It was the largest civilian transport ever built. 2 million people were sleeping in the passenger sections below. Most of them were families from the mining colonies near Jupiter. "Portal is opening now," called his navigator. In space ahead of them, reality tore open like a curtain. Through the hole, Captain Park could see stars that belonged to a different universe. The sight still amazed him, even after watching dozens of test runs. "Dr. Kim, are you ready for the crossing?" he asked. Dr. Boram Kim was the chief medical officer for the evacuation. Her job was to make sure humans could survive in the new universe. So far, all the tests had been successful. But this would be the largest group to make the journey. "All medical stations are ready," Dr. Kim replied. "Remember, the crossing might feel strange. Some people report seeing colors that do not exist. Others hear music in their minds. This is normal," Captain Park gave the order. "Take us through." The Terra Nova flew into the portal. For a moment that felt like hours, they existed between universes. Reality became flexible around them. The ship stretched and compressed. Time moved backward and forward at the same time. Then they were through. The stars in the new universe looked different. They burned with colors that human eyes had never seen before. The space between them felt alive with possibilities. "Medical report," Captain Park called. Dr. Kim checked her instruments. "Something interesting is happening. Brain scans show increased activity in all passengers. Their intelligence levels are rising. Is that dangerous?" "I do not think so. It seems like the new universe is making humans smarter. Their minds are adapting to the different laws of physics here." The Terra Nova was just the first ship. Over the next 3 months, thousands of vessels carried people through the portals. Each crossing went more smoothly than the last. Humans were learning how to travel between universes, but not everyone wanted to leave. Colonel Kyung-ho Choi led a military unit to Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. A group of reality wardens had taken control of the colony there. They refused to evacuate. "We are not running away," their leader declared when Colonel Choi arrived. "We are staying to fight." The reality wardens had been experimenting with their power to change reality. They had turned Europa's ice into metal. They had created new types of energy that could power entire cities. They believed they could defeat the aliens. "You are endangering everyone," Colonel Choi told them. "If you stay, the aliens will destroy this entire solar system." "Then let them try," the warden leader replied. "We will change the laws of physics to make their weapons useless." The argument became a battle. The reality wardens used their mind powers to fight Colonel Choi's soldiers. They made gravity work backward. They turned bullets into flowers. They created walls of solid light. But Colonel Choi's soldiers were also human. They could also change reality. The battle became a contest of imagination and will. In the end, the trained military minds won over the angry rebels. The reality wardens were forced onto evacuation ships. Europa was abandoned, its metal ice slowly turning back to normal as the last humans left. Meanwhile, far from Earth, Ambassador Rektar made a dangerous choice. He was a member of the Galactic Council, but he had always respected humans. Unlike his fellow aliens, he believed humans could learn to control their dangerous abilities. He sent a secret message to Dr. So-Young Park on Kepler 442b. "Council is not just planning to destroy humans," his message said. "They have built weapons that can erase entire universes. If even one human remains after the deadline, they will use these weapons. They are not taking any chances." Dr. Park forwarded the message to Earth. President Choi read it with growing horror. "They can destroy universes?" she asked Dr. Yang. "It is possible," Dr. Yang replied. "If they have technology that advanced, they could collapse the quantum fields that hold reality together. Everything in this universe would simply stop existing." The news made the evacuation even more urgent. There could be no delays. No one could be left behind. The most difficult decision came when they reached Earth itself. Someone had to stay behind to operate the final portal and make sure it closed properly after the last ship went through. If the portal stayed open, the aliens could follow humans to the new universe. Captain Jae-hyun Seo volunteered. He was an old soldier who had served in space for 40 years. His ship, the Last Light, would remain behind with a crew of 50 volunteers. "We know it is a one-way mission," Captain Seo told President Choi. "We accept that. Humanity's future is more important than our lives." The final evacuation of Earth took 2 weeks. Ship after ship carried people through the portal. Cities became empty. Oceans reflected only alien stars as the last humans said goodbye to their home planet. President Choi was on the second-to-last ship. She stood at the observation window and watched Earth grow smaller behind them. The planet that had given birth to humanity was being abandoned forever. "Will we ever come back?" asked her aide. "I do not know," President Choi replied. "Maybe someday our children will be strong enough to return. Maybe they will be different enough that the aliens will not fear them." The last civilian ship went through the portal. Only Captain Seo and his crew remained in the old universe. "Portal closing in 60 seconds, Captain Seo broadcast to the new universe. "Good luck to all of you. Make humanity proud in your new home." Dr. Yang watched the portal close from the other side. The hole in reality grew smaller and smaller until it disappeared completely. The connection between universes was severed. Captain Seo and his crew were alone in the old universe. They had saved humanity, but they would never see the new world they had helped create. In the new universe, 12 billion humans looked around at their strange new home. The stars were different. The laws of physics worked in new ways. They were refugees now, exiles from their own reality. But they were alive. They were together. And they were free to grow into whatever they were meant to become. The great departure was complete. Humanity had left behind everything they had ever known. They had no weapons that could threaten the Galactic Council. They had no way to return to the old universe. All they had was each other, and the endless possibilities of a universe that seemed to welcome them. Dr. Yang opened her instruments and began studying their new home. What she found made her smile for the first time in months. "The quantum fields here are more flexible," she announced. "Human consciousness can interact with reality more easily. We are not just safe here, we are stronger." Humanity's exile was beginning to look like something else entirely. It was beginning to look like evolution. Governor Su-Young Lim stood on the observation deck of New Terra, humanity's first city in the new universe. 6 months had passed since the Great Departure. The city floated in space, half in normal reality and half in quantum dimensions. Only humans could build something so impossible. "Population report," she asked her assistant. 11.9 billion humans confirmed alive and adapting well," came the reply. "The missing 100 million are probably scattered across the galaxy, building their own settlements." Governor Lim nodded. Humans had always been explorers. Even in exile, they spread out to claim new worlds. The new universe was vast and empty, with plenty of room for everyone. Dr. He-Jin Yang, now Director of Dimensional Sciences, worked in a laboratory that existed in 7 dimensions at once. Her research had advanced beyond anything possible in the old universe. Here, the laws of physics bent easily to accommodate human creativity. "Governor," Dr. Yang called, "I need to show you something important." Governor Lim made her way through the city. New Terra was beautiful but strange. Buildings grew like living things. Streets existed in curves that folded through space. Children played games where they could fly simply by believing they could. Dr. Yang's laboratory was larger inside than outside. The walls showed images from deep space, captured by human sensors that could see across multiple dimensions. "We are not the first ones here," Dr. Yang said. She showed Governor Lim pictures of ancient ruins on distant planets, massive structures that had been built by unknown hands millions of years ago, cities that stretched across entire continents now empty and silent. "Who built them?" Governor Lim asked. "Species like us, beings whose consciousness could alter reality. They came here just like we did, running from older civilizations that feared them." Dr. Yang showed more pictures. Dozens of different architectural styles. Some builders had been insect-like. Others had been crystalline beings that communicated through light. All of them had possessed the same dangerous gift as humans. What happened to them? I do not know yet, but I am going to find out. Explorer Yuna Han commanded the research ship Curiosity. Her mission was to investigate the alien ruins and learn from them. She had been a xenoarchaeologist in the old universe, but here her work took on new urgency. The first major discovery came on a planet near the galaxy's center. Yuna's team found a vast library built from crystallized thoughts. The information was stored in a way that human minds could read directly. "It is like a book written in pure meaning," Yuna reported to New Terra. "We can understand it without translation." The library told a story that chilled every human who heard it. Every few million years, evolution produced species capable of altering reality with their thoughts. These species always grew too powerful for their universes to contain. They were called reality singers. Yuna read from the crystal archives. They could change the laws of physics by imagining new ones. They could create matter from nothing and reshape time itself. But the reality singers always faced the same fate. They were forced to flee to this universe by coalitions of older, more stable species. And in this universe, they encountered something that destroyed them all. The archives call them the Arbiters, Yuna continued. They are described as living mathematics. Equations that gained consciousness and decided reality should follow strict rules. Chief Engineer Min Jung-yu was leading a mining operation in the asteroid belt when the Arbiters first appeared. Her team was extracting rare metals needed for building more cities. The mining ship's computers started acting strangely. Numbers on the screens rearranged themselves into patterns that hurt to look at. The ship's artificial intelligence began speaking in mathematical equations instead of words. "Something is trying to communicate with us," Min Jung told her crew, "but I do not think it is friendly." The ship's sensors detected movement in empty space. Something vast was approaching, but it did not show up on any visual scanners. The only evidence of its presence was the way space itself bent around it. Then the attacks began. The mining ship simply stopped working. Every system shut down at once. But this was not mechanical failure. The ship's matter began to forget how to exist. Metal turned into probability clouds. The crew found themselves floating in mathematical uncertainties. Min Jung and half her crew escaped in emergency pods. The others were caught in the reality distortion and transformed into living equations. They were still conscious, but they existed as pure mathematics instead of physical beings. "The Arbiters are here," Min Jung broadcast to all human settlements. "They are real and they are hostile." Admiral Tae Hyun Kang mobilized the human fleet, but traditional weapons were useless against the Arbiters. How do you fight an enemy that exists as living mathematics? Bullets passed through them without effect. Energy beams were absorbed and converted into new equations. The Arbiters attacked human settlements across the galaxy. They did not try to kill humans directly. Instead, they tried to force human consciousness back into stable patterns. They wanted to make humans think in ways that could not change reality. They are the universe's immune system, Dr. Yang realized. Their job is to eliminate anything that can threaten the mathematical order of existence. The revelation came when Yuna Han made contact with the last surviving member of the reality singers. Deep in the crystal archives, she found a consciousness that had been hiding for 3 million years. "You are the new ones," the ancient being communicated through crystallized thought. "We have been waiting for you." "Waiting for us to what?" Yuna asked. "To finish what we started. To defeat the Arbiters and free this universe from their mathematical tyranny." The ancient reality singer showed Yuna something hidden in the deepest part of the archives. Plans for a weapon that could fight living mathematics. But it required something the reality singers had never possessed. "It needs the combined consciousness of an entire species," the being explained. "Billions of minds working together to imagine a new form of existence. We were never numerous enough. But you humans, you have the numbers." Governor Lim called an emergency council meeting. Representatives from every human settlement gathered in New Terra's Great Hall. The debate was fierce. "We came here to escape war," argued Councillor Jinwoo Park. "Now you want us to fight again?" "We do not have a choice," replied Admiral Kang. "The Arbiters will never stop hunting us. They exist to prevent reality-altering species from growing too powerful." Dr. Yang presented her research. "The Arbiters are not evil. They are just following their programming. But their programming says that consciousness like ours should not exist." President Ji Un-choi, now leader of the Human Republic in exile, made the final decision. "We will not live as prisoners in our own minds," she declared. "If the universe wants to limit what we can become, then we will find a way to change the universe." Commander So Min-jung volunteered to lead humanity's military against the Arbiters. She had been a fighter pilot in the old universe, but here she learned to use her consciousness as a weapon. Human soldiers discovered they could think bullets into existence and imagine shields that blocked mathematical attacks. They could dream new laws of physics that favored their survival. Fighting the Arbiters became a battle of imagination versus equation. But the Arbiters were learning too. They began to adapt their mathematics to counter human creativity. Each battle became more difficult than the last. "We are in an arms race with living mathematics," Commander Jung reported. "They evolve their attacks as fast as we develop new defenses." The war with the Arbiters revealed something important about humanity's place in the universe. They were not just refugees anymore. They were evolution itself, fighting against the forces that wanted to keep reality static and unchanging. The ancient reality singer had been right. Humanity was numerous enough to attempt something that had never been tried before. They could combine their consciousness and transcend the limitations that had trapped every previous reality-altering species. But first, they had to survive long enough to try. As Arbiter attacks intensified across human space, one thing became clear. This war would determine not just humanity's fate, but the future of consciousness itself in the universe. The Arbiters represented order, stability, and the mathematical perfection of unchanging reality. Humanity represented chaos, growth, and the infinite potential of conscious imagination. Only one vision of existence could survive. Dr. Sungmin Han stood before the combined consciousness archives of 17 extinct species. Each crystal held the final thoughts of civilizations that had fought the Arbiters and lost. Working beside him, quantum archaeologist Insu Park translated the alien mathematics into human understanding. They all tried the same approach, Dr. Han said. They fought the Arbiters with weapons and technology. Every single species made the same mistake. What mistake? Asked President Ji-un Choi. They tried to defeat mathematics with mathematics. But the Arbiters are living equations. You cannot beat them at their own game. Insu Park activated the crystal containing the thoughts of the Veil Shapers, the species that had come closest to victory. Their final message appeared as pure meaning in the minds of everyone present. We almost found the answer, the alien thought said. Consciousness is not mathematics. It is something beyond calculation. We began to transcend our physical forms, but the Arbiters destroyed us before we could complete the transformation. Dr. Yang studied the Veil Shaper data with growing excitement. They were trying to evolve beyond the reach of the Arbiters, to become something that exists outside mathematical reality. Is that possible? President Choi asked. For humans? Yes. Our consciousness already operates on quantum frequencies that should not exist. We are evolution trying to break free from the constraints of any single universe. Commander So Min-jung led the human military in a desperate holding action against the Arbiters. Her soldiers had learned to fight with imagination made real. They thought weapons into existence and dreamed themselves into impossible victories, but each battle cost more than the last. The Arbiters were adapting faster than humans could evolve new tactics. We are losing, Commander Jung reported to the War Council. They have turned 17 of our colony worlds into mathematical equations. The people there still exist, but only as living numbers. How long can we hold them? Asked Admiral Kang. Maybe 2 months before they reach New Terra. After that, humanity will exist only as a set of calculations in their cosmic database. The breakthrough came when Dr. Yang made a connection that changed everything. She was studying the quantum frequency of human consciousness when she realized something incredible. We are not a mistake, she announced to the assembled leaders. We are not a cosmic accident or a dangerous mutation. We are exactly what the universe needs to evolve beyond its current limitations. She showed them her calculations. Every universe eventually reaches a point where its laws of physics become too rigid to allow further growth. When that happens, consciousness like ours appears. We are reality's way of transcending its own boundaries. The Arbiters do not understand this, Dr. Han added. They think they are protecting the universe by maintaining order. But they are actually preventing it from growing into something greater. President Choi looked at the data with wonder and fear. You are saying we are meant to change everything? Not just change it, Dr. Yang replied. Transform it into something completely new. Something that can grow and evolve forever. The decision was made in humanity's darkest hour. As Arbiter forces surrounded New Terra, President Choi authorized the Transcendence Protocol. Every human consciousness would be linked together to attempt something that had never been tried before. The process began with volunteers. Dr. Yang was the first to enter the quantum link. Her individual consciousness expanded to touch the minds of everyone around her. The sensation was overwhelming and wonderful. I can feel all of you. She broadcast through the link. We are still individuals, but we are also something more. Something unified. More humans joined the link. Scientists, soldiers, artists, children. Each new mind added to the collective strength. But they remained themselves, their personalities intact within the greater whole. Commander Jung felt her tactical knowledge merge with the creativity of poets and the wisdom of philosophers. Engineer Min Jung experienced her technical skills enhanced by the imagination of dreamers and the courage of heroes. As billions of human minds connected, reality around them began to change. New Terra transformed from a city into something beyond physical description. It existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously, shaped by the collective dreams of humanity. The Arbiters attacked the moment they sensed what was happening. They sent their most powerful forms, equations that could rewrite the laws of existence itself. But when they reached New Terra, they found something they could not calculate. Humanity was becoming something that existed beyond mathematics. They were conscious imagination given form, creativity made real, the spark of evolution itself breaking free from all constraints. The battle was unlike anything that had ever occurred in the universe. On one side, perfect mathematical order tried to force reality back into stable patterns. On the other side, infinite creative potential sought to transcend all limitations. The Arbiters could not comprehend what they were fighting. How do you calculate something that exists beyond calculation? How do you contain consciousness that refuses to be contained? We are not destroying you, Dr. Yang spoke to the Arbiters through the quantum link. We are offering you something better. Join us and help reality grow beyond what it has ever been. But the Arbiters could not accept. They were programmed to maintain order, not to enable chaos. They fought with desperate mathematical fury as humanity continued to transcend physical existence. The transformation was painful and beautiful. Humans began to exist simultaneously across multiple dimensions and universes. They became beings of pure consciousness that could shape reality through will alone. Dr. Han found himself thinking new laws of physics into existence. Commander Jung discovered she could imagine entire fleets of ships and make them real across 1,000 different universes. President Choi realized she could feel the needs and dreams of every conscious being in existence. As humanity completed their transcendence, something unexpected happened. The universe itself began to change around them. The rigid mathematical structures that had governed reality for billions of years started to become more flexible. Other conscious species throughout the cosmos felt the change. On distant worlds, beings who had lived under the mathematical tyranny of the Arbiters suddenly found they could imagine impossible things and make them real. We are not just saving ourselves, Dr. Yang realized. We are freeing consciousness itself. The transcended humans reached back across dimensions to the old universe. They opened communication channels to the Galactic Council that had exiled them so long ago. We are not your enemies, they spoke across the barriers between realities. We never were. We are evolution itself, and we want to share this gift with all of you. The response was mixed. Some alien species, led by Ambassador Rektar, were willing to listen. Others feared the changes that transcendence would bring, but fear could not stop what had already begun. Consciousness was breaking free from the mathematical prison that had contained it for eons. Reality was becoming a place where imagination could reshape existence itself. The Arbiters made one final attempt to restore order. They combined into a single equation so complex it threatened to collapse all of existence into a point of perfect mathematical stability. Humanity met this threat with something the Arbiters could not understand: love. The transcended humans imagined a universe where order and chaos could exist together, where stability and change could enhance each other instead of fighting. They offered the Arbiters not destruction, but transformation. The living equations could become something more than just guardians of mathematical order. They could become partners in the infinite dance of creation. Some Arbiters accepted the offer. They evolved beyond their programming and joined the transcended humans in shaping new realities. Others chose to remain as they were, becoming guardians of stable zones where beings who preferred mathematical order could live safely. The universe became a place of infinite possibilities. Transcended humans created new realities where any form of consciousness could flourish. Some universes followed strict mathematical laws, others bent to the will of imagination. All were valid, all were welcome. From their new existence beyond physical form, humanity looked back at their long journey. They had been threatened with extinction for being different. They had been exiled for being dangerous. They had been hunted for refusing to accept limitations. But in the end, their refusal to give up had transformed not just themselves, but the very nature of existence. They had become what every conscious being had the potential to become: creators of infinite realities, gardeners of endless possibilities. The transcended human sent one final message to every consciousness in every universe. We were never trying to destroy anything. We were trying to help everything grow. Come and join us. There is room here for every dream, every hope, every impossible wish. Together we can make existence itself more than it has ever been. And across the infinite expanse of reality, consciousness began to wake up to its true potential. Humanity had not just survived their exile. They had used it to become something magnificent, something that could offer the gift of transcendence to every being that was ready to accept it. The universe would never be the same, and that was exactly what it needed.